Yo. Welcome into the ChrisBeCappinn Show, man. Today is July the 23rd. There's only one game in the W for today, 2 games tomorrow. So we'll talk about that one game for today. Don't really have a recap. Yesterday, we talked about a lot of things. It would have been a profitable show had you tell all the plays that we talked about yesterday. We just go back through it. I didn't play anything. Really just, like I said, kind of wanted to see how the first day would kind of play out. See how these teams would kind of get back into the swing of things. Sonia Citron, I liked her over her 1.5 threes. That was a loser, but the Sparks did get the job done. They won the game outright. So plus the 3.5 was a winner. Dallas team total over, and Dallas plus the points 9.5 or 6.5 when Skylar Diggins got ruled out were also 2 winners. Atlanta, I didn't want them if Jackie Young played. Of course, she did play. So that was a loser. Asia Wilson over her 23.5 points. She finished with 24. That was a winner, and Jackie Young continues to crush her rebounds and assist line. That was a winner as well. Aaliyah Boston did stay under. I know TC talked about that yesterday in the comment section. She did stay under. She did go over. Her points prop was listed at 13.5. She finished with 15, getting a late garbage bucket too. So if you watched the show yesterday, hopefully you made some money. Because it was a pretty good one, especially with us having the long layover. Sometimes after having these long layovers, it can be pretty tricky to pick sides because you don't have like a lot of different spots aren't available. So like I said, hopefully you guys made some money. Gina says, good morning, Chris and chat. Went 2-1 in the W last night. Cash for Kia Jackson over 23.5 points. Asia over her 23.5 points as well. So Rakia over 13.5, Asia over 22.5, and lost on the Liberty team total over. Yeah, that first half, they didn't look good. The Fever were actually winning at the end of the first half, which made sense though. Jocko Jones' first game back, I wouldn't have wanted that team total over, but glad you made some money last night. I think that's always the goal. What's up, Prestigious Prodigy? Jason says, just about to sit down in the barber chair. Mercury Mine 6.5. Let's go. We shall talk about it in just a second, Jason. Timeout says Bree Jones and Brittany Griner ain't worth nothing last night, and that was pretty interesting. Timeout. I was very interested in my opinion because I got a chance to watch most of that game last night. Did think that they would be able to have an impact on the interior. Asia was not going for it. They did a really good job, slowing down what Atlanta wanted to do on the interior. What up, Peasy? Appreciate you for tapping in. Nayeli, hope all is well. She says, I hope everyone caught that live Wings money line. It was so lovely. Yeah, Noelle Quinn was getting out coached. She was getting circles around her last night in that game. But again, I didn't put any money on it, so hopefully you guys did. All right, let's move into today, man. Yesterday, we always start with Jackson. If you're new to the show, Jackson is an AI sports betting tool. There is a link in the description if you want to check it out. Another split for Jackson yesterday. Jackson Angel Reese over her 14.5 points. She finished with just 11. Can't remember what she shot, but I think she shot pretty poorly. And Chelsea Gray under 8.5 rebounds and assists. That was a winner. She finished with just 7 yesterday. So 1 over, 1 under yesterday. As far as today, I wanted to switch it up just because it's one game. So I asked the prompt for Jackson today was what is – let's see if I can find it. Okay, so what is the number one best bet in the WNBA today between spread, total, and player props? And Jackson spits out a very probably controversial look here, but I'm interested to hear. I'm interested to read this. It says, after taking a deep dive into today's WNBA slate, analyzing game lines and player props, I pinpoint what I believe is the single best bet for today. The pick combines strong statistical trends with the challenging matchup for the player involved. The play is Alyssa Thomas under 22.5 points and assists. So this is intriguing here. So here's the analysis. It says, while Alyssa Thomas has been a dominant force this season, leading the WNBA in assists and consistently putting up strong numbers, her historical performance against the Atlanta Dream for this specific combined prop tells a compelling story for the under. So head-to-head dominance by Atlanta. In their 4 matchups during last season, Thomas has hit the over on the line 0% of the time against the Atlanta Dream. Her average for points and assists in those games were just 19, which is well below the current line of 22.5. The consistent underperformance against a specific opponent is a powerful indicator. Elite defensive matchup. Atlanta Dream boasted number 1 rated defense in the league against Thomas's position for points and assists allowed. This means that they're exceptionally effective at limiting production from players in her role for this combined statistic. For the combined statistics, this top tier defensive ranking strongly supports the historical head-to-head trend. Recent performance context, looking at recent overall performances, Thomas has hit the over in just 60% of her last 5 games, 70% of her last 10 games. However, when evaluating a specific matchup, the direct head-to-head data and the opponent's defensive ranking against a specific prop are more predictive than general recent trends. The Dream's ability to stifle her in the category is a consistent factor. News narrative. So news indicates that Thomas has been holding down the fort for the Mercury with other key players like Satou Sabally and Kalia Copper out, and she's been making a charge for the MVP award. While this suggests increased responsibility and strong overall play, it doesn't negate the Dream's proven capability to limit her combined points and assists in the direct matchup. The Dream's defensive scheme appears to be particularly effective against her playmaking and scoring combination. Considering the Atlanta Dream's elite defense against this prop, and Thomas's consistent struggle to hit the line against them in their previous encounters this season, well, you have to say last season, the under presents a high confidence play despite her strong overall season. So, like I said, a little controversial there. But yeah, Jackson likes Alyssa Thomas under 22.5 points and assists. Doesn't like the matchup here against the Dream. Now, the thing that you got to take into consideration when you never blindly tell anything, honestly. You want to do your own research, no matter if it's a person or AI, whatever it is. Thing you got to take into consideration here is that this is a totally different team for, this is the first year that Alyssa Thomas has played on the Phoenix Mercury. That's first and foremost. Last year, there was Connecticut Sun teams that played a lot slower than this Phoenix Mercury team. And then the Atlanta Dream defensively, they're a little bit differently as well with Brittany Griner and totally new bigs, totally new coach. So never just blindly play it, but the historical trends, I guess, go with Alyssa Thomas under today. Again, check out Jackson using the link in the description. And let's jump into the game. I just want to check and make sure we got the best line, the most updated line. So this is now up to 8. I didn't even see that it had moved up to 8. The totals also moved from 161 up to 163. I literally just put this in about 2 hours ago. But yeah, they're on the move, and I'll just jump right into it. Well, first we'll go through an injury report real quick. So this has moved from 7.5 up to 8, and this total has moved to 163. So we look at the injury report. The Atlanta Dream could potentially, I doubt they rest anybody, but they can submit their injury report late because it is a second leg of a back-to-back for them. We know that Ryan Howard won't be there. I think, will continue to miss the rest of the month. And then on the Phoenix Mercury side of things, Akoa Makani is out due to concussion protocol, and then Kalani Brown is listed as probable. I think it was a head injury, but she's listed as probable in that game as well. All right, so we jump into the matchup here, and I did bet this one. I think if I didn't bet it, I don't think I would have did a show today, honestly, because I wanted to give you guys something that I played. However, what I played is now gone. I bet the Phoenix Mercury here. I got minus 7.5. Keep in mind, this line did open at 6.5. I saw 6.5 last night. It went up to 7.5, and 7.5 is where it sit at this morning. The way I see it is if Atlanta's going to keep it close, they could potentially win the game. And if the Phoenix Mercury are going to win the game, I do think that it's going to probably be by double digits in this spot. So we look at the Atlanta Dream first. They've really struggled recently. Just 3-7 against the spread in their last 10 games. In their 7 road losses, they've only covered 1, and their offense has struggled in those games that they've lost and not covered, averaging just 75 points per game, staying under their team total in 5 of those 7 games. And then you look at this Phoenix Mercury team. They get Satou Sabally back. They get Kalia Copper back as well today. Their offense is highly powered with both of those in the lineup as well. I think, let me see if I can find it real quick. When I sent this out to the members this morning, I didn't even put all that stuff in my notes, but I wanted to share with you guys real quick. Just looking at these, looking at the numbers real quick. So, really, really terrible, rest advantage. You could say rest versus rust. Phoenix has been off for 6 days, and Atlanta of course, having to travel in from Vegas. Teams with a 6-day rest advantage are 6-2 ATS all time, 4-1 if they're the home team as well. So they typically do cover these numbers. Satu and Kalia Copper being back. So you can go into WNBA.com and look at the advanced numbers with both of these players on the floor. But Phoenix is a plus 12 in net rating with both of those young ladies on the floor, Satu Sabli and Kalia Copper. Offensive rating of 115. On the opposite side, the Atlanta Dream, they've now played 205 minutes, including the game last night against the Las Vegas Aces without Ryan Howard. And defensively is where they typically take a big drop. They have a defensive rating of 95 with her on the floor. Atlanta's been a pretty good defensive team, but when she's not playing, defense has actually dropped to a 102. And we saw it. It was evident last night when they played against the Aces. The Aces scored 97 points, and I don't even think they shot 57. I don't even think they shot 50% from the field. The crazy thing also is that if we remember right before the All-Star break, Chicago was a team that I think it was their 4th time in franchise history that they have been held under 50 points. So Atlanta's defense, you would think, the numbers are a tad bit inflated without Ryan Howard. They're actually not. Like I said, the defense is still not as great. And I think Phoenix, when we look at this Phoenix team, they should be able to run up and down the floor, right? I think a big part of the game as well will be Phoenix's ability to be able to force turnovers, to force Atlanta into turnovers. Atlanta turned the ball over 19 times last night for 24 Las Vegas Aces points. Now they get a Phoenix team that actually forces the most turnovers in the league, second most in the last 5 games. So I think, the one advantage that the Atlanta Dream do have is that they are a really good rebounding team. You do got, Brittany Griner coming back to make her debut against her home team, her first time, I think, playing against the Mercury in her career. So I think she posted, something about, there's already a tear there. So it's probably going to be emotional for her. So you're going to need Alyssa Thomas and Satu Sabli, who are pretty good rebounders, and Kalani Brown off the bench to come in and, not get dominated on the boards by Bree Jones and Brittany Griner, and even, Alicia Gray, because she's a good rebounder as well. But I do think Phoenix wins the game. I think looking at Atlanta's 3-point defense is actually bottom 5 as well in the last 5 games. It's kind of fallen off a little bit. And we know the Phoenix Mercury like to take advantage of the 3-point shot. So I do think Phoenix should be able to knock down some threes. I think they should be able to force some turnovers on Atlanta as well. As long as they're locked in, I think that they win this game by double digits. I did play the 6.5. As far as the total goes, I wanted to play over. I kind of still want to play over, but I don't like getting the worst of the number. It's already up 2 points. I'll tell you guys what held me up. It was a couple of things I was looking at. The first thing was the Atlanta Dream. The Atlanta Dream as a road dog, in their road losses, they are averaging just 75 points per game. I think their team total is something like 77 today. The thing about the Phoenix Mercury, when they win, they typically go over. When they win at home, they typically go over. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if they hit their team total tonight. But they can also win with their defense as well. So I think about the total for Atlanta, and yes, they should be able to get there. This is a very slow-paced team. They didn't get to they went under yesterday against the Aces. They went under their team total against the Aces as well. And without Ryan Howard being there, I think the offense does really lack a lot. You're really dependent on Alicia Gray to continue to have a really good game. She had a good game last night, but nobody else really played well with her. I think if Atlanta's not scoring on the interior with Bree Jones, and I'm not expecting Jordan Kennedy to have a super great game. I think that they could struggle. They'll need a big time game from some of their bench players like Shatoria Walker-Kimbrough and definitely Naz Hillman as well. So my thought process is that Atlanta offense could potentially struggle. And if they went over, it wouldn't surprise me at all. But I do think Phoenix should be able to score the basketball and cover this number. So I didn't play the total. As far as player props, I think I want to go over to Outlier really quick, share with you guys what my research found here, and then I'll go through the comments and we'll get out of here. So this is Outlier. There's a link in the description, of course, as always. So I looked at Alyssa Thomas, kind of disagreeing with Jackson a little bit. I actually like AT over her assist prop here, and I know it's not a favorable matchup. You can see that listed right here. This Atlanta Dream team gives up the 3rd fewest assists. I'm kind of highlighting that right here so you can see that. However, against the forward position, it gets a little bit worse. And then the thing I like about AT is, what's not to like about AT, right? We know she's the engine that runs this offense. She's up and over her 10 assists. I mean, over her eight and a half assists. And you can see 4 of her last 5 games. And some of these have come against some pretty good defenses. 11 on the road in Golden State, 9 on the road in Minnesota, 2 of the top, I would say top 3, top 4 best defensive teams in the WNBA. So I do think that Alyssa Thomas goes up and over her assists. The other thing I looked at was if you come down here, you can factor in games played with. And if you put Kahleah Copper and Satu Sabally on the floor, she's over the 8.5. You can see here in 3 to 5 games. Well, let's go to whole season. All right, here we go. So yeah, so this is the full season with Kahleah Copper and Satu Sabally. Both, of course, are excellent, shooters, playmakers themselves as well. If you put them 2 on the floor, you can see AT is over in 4 of her last 4 to 6 games she's played so far with Satu and Kahleah Copper. She's averaging, you can see that right here, 10.8 assists in those games. So I kind of disagree with Jackson. Jackson likes the under. I like the over for Alyssa Thomas. Not sure if I'll bet both, but I did see this listed at plus 100 on Bet365 earlier this morning. You can see here that this is minus 125 on a couple other books. So definitely want to shop around if you like AT. I think even AT's potential double-double, I think, is in play for today as well. I like AT over her assist prop. Just kind of makes a lot of sense in my opinion. If I think the Phoenix Mercury are going to score the basketball, I do think that AT is going to have a big role in that, in them being able to score the ball. So those are my thoughts. I only bet one, but the leans would be over, and the leans would also be Alyssa Thomas over her assist prop. Let's see what you guys are thinking here, and we'll get out of here. What up, Mark? Appreciate you for tapping in. So let's cash tonight. Copper likes this matchup, James says. What up, Thomas? He says, what's up? He says, I'm taking the Mercury second quarter because of Atlanta on the back-to-back. Fatigue will kick in with that cardio, missing layups, 18 points, rebounds. It's just over. Okay. So, yeah, I thought about this. I don't know how much I want to – I guess we could look at it real quick because I thought about this. I don't want to fade the Atlanta Dream just because they're on the second leg of a back-to-back. I want to fade the Dream because I think the Mercury offense is good. They play better at home. I didn't mention this, but the Mercury are one of the best teams in the W at the crib. They're 9-3 straight up, 8-4 against the number. When they win by an average of about 8 points per game at home. And then in the games that they've covered at home, they're 7-2 against the spread. So they typically win with their offense. They average about 88 points per game. And that's led to 5 straight covers. I forgot to mention that. But to your point, I think when you're looking at a team that's, rest, when they're unrested, but their previous rest is greater than 4. So this is typically, first game after the All-Star break. This doesn't say to take them. They're 6-11 straight up and against the spread. Let's add that they are on the road, 5-6 against the spread, lose by about 7 points per game. So I just don't think about teams, necessarily running out of gas after such a big break. Now, granted, I just think Atlanta's offense could potentially struggle in this spot. In my opinion, the Mercury's defense is better than the Aces defense as well. So I think that, as long as Mercury can keep Atlanta off the boards, because Atlanta is a top 2, top 3 rebounding team, I think Atlanta's offense does struggle here. So I don't know how much of a fatigue is going to come in, though, is what I'm trying to say with them having so much rest before yesterday's game. Let's see. No Howard is big. I agree with that, James. Michael says Storm on the ban list. You can't be messing with the Storm, man. They got the Wings tomorrow. They got the Chicago Sky tomorrow, and they land 6 in Chicago. I looked into that game a little bit already. James says later number. I agree. Natalie says she's taking the Mercury -7 and under 163. So thinking under. James says I stayed off the Wings first quarter, but now we get Seattle being a terrible third quarter team if they start hot. These bros, yeah, I don't know what it is. I can't back Seattle though. I can't back Seattle. So we'll see about tomorrow. It'd be nice if Ariel Atkins could play. That'd be great. Mark says he got -6.5 and Mercury to win in the over 154.5. So put a little parlay in as well. Faye King says took Sparks money line 3 units and Dallas half and game spread for 2 units apiece. Welcome back to the W. Good job, Faye King. Nice to see that. JW said he got the Liberty live at 2.5, 3.5, and 4.5. God damn, there's a lot of bets, but okay. Glad you cashed. They all cashed last night. They covered the full number too, man. That's what I said. I don't really want to fade the Liberty are a hard team to cap because mid-game, they could be losing by 10 at home, and they still win the game by 10. And that's what we saw last night, man. They have the innate ability to be able to turn it on. Sabrina Ionescu was 1 for 9 from the field yesterday. Then she goes on her own personal, I think, like 7-0 run, 10-0 run. She can't miss a shot after not being able to make a shot. It's like a whole like book, and they just have chapters of the game for the New York Liberty. You never know what you're gonna get from that Liberty team, but they typically win. They do typically win. Let's see. Chicago Cheetah likes Mercury as well. Mercury kills teams from the East. Dirty Rig says. Fade King says Mercury home about to smoke them. Bonner and AT are the real stuff. All right, man. That's enough. That is enough. All right, let's recap, man. Let's recap and get out of here. That's funny though. So like I said, I played Phoenix minus the 6.5. I also would go over 163 and AT over 8.5 assists. I think it's a little juicy. I mean, it's a little high of a number, but that's the way that I would play today. There was one more thought process that I wanted to share with you guys as well. Let me let's see. All right, so let's put this up real quick. Like I said, what I bet is gone, but if I was betting anything else, it'd be right here. I wanted to look at Jordan Canada assists. I forgot to do this earlier, so y'all bear with me. Jordan Canada points listed at 12.5. She's coming off a game where she just had 12. She's under in 3 straight games, but specifically her assist prop is still at 6.5. So yesterday it was at 7.5. She finished with 6. This Phoenix Mercury team is a team that is about middle of the pack in assists allowed. I kind of want to fade Jordan Canada on her assists. I think 6.5 is a tad bit too high. She finished with 6, like I said, against the Aces. She's at 6.5. I kind of want to play Jordan Canada assists. She's only over in 10 of her 16 and 6 of her 16 games this season. So the under is already hitting about 62.5%. I gotta do a little bit more work on it, but I kind of want to take Jordan Canada under her assist. She also played 37 minutes last night. That's big, even if she had rest the night before. So I don't know. I guess I would add that as an honorable mention as well. Jordan Canada under her 6.5 assists. But yeah, that'll be the show for today, man. Best of luck on whatever it is that you guys are betting. Link in the description as it always is for all the plays. Also link in the description for Jackson Outlier, Moneyballer, and Odds Jam. We'll be back tomorrow, maybe same time-ish. And we'll talk about the 2 games for tomorrow. Hopefully I have some player prop looks as well. Do me a favor, hit the like button for me on the way out if you can. Subscribe to the channel. Turn the notification bell on, and I will catch you guys in the next one.